Okay, in this step we want to create a simple screen share for our multiplayer game. For example, in this level we have a multiplayer car racing game. So we're adding all the contents of that FMETP scene to this scene. For example, from main camera until the end, we added to here, only drag and drop, and we hide some objects the same, for example directional light or main camera of the multiplayer scene, because we don't need them. The important thing is main camera of FMETP must be enabled for our scene because it has game view encoder component of it. Okay, let's create a new C# script to create a system for streaming bytes and using the encoder of the FMETP. Okay, we create a C# script we call Photon system. Alright, we wait for compiling. Compiling is done. Double click. Okay, in here, as you can see, we have an empty C# script. So let's remove them. At first we need to add some using libraries. For example, using photon.pon, and also we need to have using .ui. Perhaps we need it. Okay, let's add some variables in here. Public photon view, we call it m.photon view. Okay, and I will explain to you what is the photon view component. It is a default component of photon view and PON. In fact, it is a bridge between the user and server. With this component, we can send a message or stream something, and also we can receive a new data from the server. So we need to add a component, it's called photon view, to that object we want to use this script. Okay, let's go ahead. Public game view decoder. Okay, we say game view decoder. We call it that object we want to use this script must have photon view component. Okay, and for here the component of video decoder for convert the bytes to a screen. Okay, let's go ahead for create a new public void. It's called public void send message. My favorite name, send message. We can create another name, but I prefer to use send message. Okay, in here we need to define a new parameter. It's called byte, but as a list of bytes. It's called byte data, and also another string, it's called message. Okay, let's go down and we call this variable photon view dot RPC. The RPC is the method of sending a message into the multiplayer space. Okay, in here we say RPC send message, and we say RPC target dot all. Sorry. Okay, RPC target and so on. Then in here we can select the target of our message we want to send. For example, right now we can say I don't know, only to master client, only others on, but I prefer to use all because we want to see it as well. And also we can say, okay, at first we need to define this one, then the message. Okay, this is a method for sending our message. It's time to define a system for receiving the message. It's called rpc.sendMessage. It needs to be in the family of Pon RPC. Okay, private void the message in here. It must be exactly the same like this. A list of bytes, it's called underlined byte data, and a string, it's called message. And we say if a message, right now with this RPC send message, in fact we receive a new message from server, and now we can do any process on our new response from server. For example, we can check something from received a message in here, or we can do something in list of bytes we received from server. For example, we say, okay, if a message dot contain, I don't know, video share, for example, and right now we can define a code for here to be understand better. Okay, it is our sharing screen system, because perhaps we will have another messages in the multiplayer game, so we need to define a code for ourselves actually. Okay, we say game view this variable dot, it has a function, it's called action process image data. It is for converting to the list of bytes to a screen. In fact, if you open this variable and this script, you can see sorry, let's to make this okay, and in here you can define bytes. Perfect. Okay, let's to check it in game view decoder. In this function you can convert the bytes, because the input variable is called list of byte. You can convert the bytes to the screen. I don't want to open it because it is already done and it is not our priority. I prefer to use it. Right now the FMETP using this function to convert the bytes to the screen, but in the local multiplayer system. But we want to use this function for our online multiplayer system. So it's enough to know that this is the function of FMETP about the decoding the video and converting the list of bytes to the screen. Okay, right now our sending and receiving bytes is done. It's time to add a simple function to the encoding system. For example, the FMETP has encoding. Right now you could to see the decoding system. Right now we want to work on encoding system. FMETP capturing a video and view from the main camera, and with the using, as you can see, FM Network Manager. It's called FM Network Manager. It is the name of a script, and send to others on data byte ready event. It means after the converting the view screen to the bytes, it's using this function to send to all the users in the local multiplayer, in fact in the network of offline network of that. But we want to use this function to streaming the bytes into the Photon network multiplayer. So let's go to the FM Network Manager. In this script, FM Network Manager, we open it and go to the script. Okay, let's to check the name again. It's called sorry, in here, send to the others, and send to others. Let's search about it. Send to others. In line 436 we have a function. It's called public void send to others. The input of this function, it's called list of array, list of bytes. It's called byte data. As you can see, we say okay, send, and it's using the offline network of the FMETP. We don't want to hit it. Let's continue. Good luck, my friend. Now we want to add something in here. At first, in the void start, we have to create something in here. At first, we need to find a pawn system in here and call it, then to be ready for using that. Because in the multiplayer pawn, it takes about 4 or 5 seconds to generate the scene and connect to the server and creating a room and joining to the room. So at the first moment of opening the scene, we cannot use the function. So we have to disable this send order function until we join it to the room. So we say at the first moment we create a variable. It's called start pawn, internal bool start pawn equal false. And also we have to create a system. It's called pawn system, and we say pawn system in here as a variable. That script we have made for our send get bytes in pawn. Okay, and in here in the void start we need to check. Okay, let's to find we need to say pawn system. Let's to find object, an object which has the pawn system PON system as a component of it. Okay, I have created an object. It's called alone PON, and I have added the my script PON system, and in here, as you can see, a PON system which has Photon view. The Photon view is a default component of the Photon network. You can add write in here Photon view, and you can add it very easily. Then add your script, for example PON system in here. Okay, drag and drop a Photon view in here, and also drag and drop a game view decoder to here. Okay, right now it's ready to use. Let's go back to our FM network manager. Now we say, okay, when you find an object which is called alone PON, you can use your specific name, for example, I don't know, PON manager or something like that, but I used alone PON, which has component PON system. So PON system is not null, so let's start it. Start PON equal true. Go back to our dear send to other function. We check when the start PON equal true. Let's use our send system of our PON system. PON system dot send message. As you can see, we have defined two variables for send message, so we have to define two variables. As you can see, the list of bytes, and also it's called a string. At first we say, okay, send this bytes because it is the list of bytes. Then define a string message. We defined a code. It's called video share, so we have to exactly copy and paste this code in here. Alright, right now we have the screen share. That's it. We're waiting for compiling the code. And go to the FM network or FM network manager. Okay, everything is fine. If you click on main camera, you can see it has different options for capturing mode. For example, main camera, render camera, full screen, or desktop. And also you can resize the resolution of the screen for better streaming the video, and also you can play with the quality number and stream FPS. I propose to use quarter as a resize and quality 10 and stream FPS equal 13 because it's not good and not bad. It depends to your internet system, internet speed, sorry. And for the game view decoder, so I have to explain another one. It's called fast encode mode, and also using the multi-threading. It's help us a lot, and these functions help us a lot for better optimization of our game and the better share screen in our multiplayer game. And also we have the same methods in here: game view decoder, fast decode mode, and also multi-threading. I propose to check on both of them. Okay, now we can test a simple share screen between two users, and then we will work on how we can define a video chat. But at first, make sure about something in canvas of the FMETP. This raw image will be the screen of other user in a share screen. You can put it in everywhere you want. For example, I put it in here. You can put somewhere else, I don't know, any size, anything. And also you can check off all of these functions, all of these UI elements, because they are not necessary for our scene. Only thing is test image. It will be the screen of other user. For example, right now I try to play the scene. As you can see, in here I can see my screen, and also in here I can see the screen of mine in inside of the server. If we have another user, I can see the screen share of him in here. Right now, because we don't have any second user in our room, I can see the screen of mine. If you can see this, if you are alone in your room, it means your system works well. Okay, let's test it in the real condition between one mobile phone and Unity editor in my PC.